Hey, my name is Mark. I'm making a day one Asuka guide for the test case one, his first deck of spells. I wanted to see if I could come up with a good game plan with the really simple deck that has mostly projectiles, see if I could actually convert from neutral into good pressure so that we can, put our opponent in 50-50s, get him to stop blocking and get hit by all of Asuka's really good moves. Let's get right into it. All right, so the cornerstone of test case one are these 4 projectile spells. There's the blue spell, which is a fast single hitting one. There's the yellow spell, which has a bit more block stun. It's more active, but with a longer delay. There's the green spell, which is kind of a middle ground between the two of those that fans out. And then there's this short range guard crush spell right here. So I'm going to go through each one of these and talk about how do you frame trap into them and what kind of pressure do you get if you get your opponent to block them. All right, so we'll start with the blue spell. This one is the fastest, startup, but it also has the least amount of block stun. So one thing you're going to notice is for each of these spells, I'll tell you whether and how you should be canceling out of the spells, and what kind of moves you should be using to cancel into them. So the good thing about this one is because it comes out so fast, it really lets you utilize Asuka's one of his best pokes, which is this 5K. It has like deceptively long range. And the good thing about kick buttons, 5K, is you can dash out of it. So one really thing you can do with this blue spell is you can dash and then cancel the dash into the blue spell, which will frame trap your opponent. Right now I have the opponent set to jump on both block and recovery. So being able to frame trap into this, and sometimes even gapless if you do it fast enough, is really useful because that's a good way to start pressure. Now if your opponent blocks this move, you will be able to frame trap them out of it with 2K, which is also a low hitting move. So then what you can do is you can mix that up between that and dash up throw. So that's going to be your main pressure off of the blue spell. It really lets you utilize your 5K to set up close range pressure into strike throw. One other advantage of the blue spell is that it allows you to do what I call, chain spelling. So because it comes out so fast, it's really good for converting and comboing off of your long pokes, like 2D or far slash, right? So you can do that, that'll combo. And it's pretty hard to, convert off of it. You don't get that much. But if you want to build a lot of meter and, get some damage in, and you have some of these other projectile spells in this test case, what you can do is you can start off with the blue, and then you can chain into all the other ones. And then you can end that by just refilling all your spells and refilling your mana. So it'll look something like this. And now we have all our spells, we have all our mana, they're full screen, and you can go back to neutral. Alternatively, you can combo into the super, and you can actually act basically right away after the super. So you can get good damage and refill everything, or you can run up for a mix-up if you still have relevant spells remaining. And because chain spelling is like a really good way to hit confirm, this is going to make this test case, is going to give Asuka like the best footsies, right? Because you can hit your opponent off of these long-range moves, chain into spells, just go into a super, and replenish everything. So it's really good for punishing your opponent in neutral. One other advantage of the blue spell is that it's fast enough to combo out of your lights. So if you mash, then you can go for a meaty setup, or you can go for whatever chain spell combo you've got. Sorry, I dropped it, but you get the idea. So it's actually pretty good for activating your lights. So when you have blue, you can start fuzzy mashing out of pressure and things like that. So the next spell is the green spell. It's a little bit slower than the blue spell, but it has a little bit more block stun and hit stun. It frame traps out of your 6K and out of your 2D. So there you go. You can do that. You can also frame trap out of 2D. I think you can even get a gap leg out of 2D if you go fast enough. So it just means you have to change up your routes. You'll want to approach with 2K 2D, but you can also approach with 5K, 6K into the green spell. And on block, it allows you to dash up and frame trap with 2K. Or you can dash up and throw. So you're going to be activating it from a slightly further distance than the blue spell, but then it also has just enough frame advantage that allows you to dash up before you go for your mix-up as well. So it kind of makes up for it. So you can get the same kind of strike through mix if you get your opponent to block the green spell as well. One other difference between the blue spell and the green spell is that the blue spell gives you the maximum frame advantage when you don't cancel it point blank. But if you cancel it into a recharge, then you're going to actually lose frame advantage and you're not going to be able to go for a mix-up. The green spell, however, gives you the same amount of frame advantage whether you cancel it or not. It might even give you a little bit more if you do cancel it. So you can pretty much always go at least meter or resource neutral in that you can refresh that spell in that slot every time you use it for pressure, and you don't have to worry about recouping that spell later on. And it's the same in combos. Mid-combo, you can cancel that same slot straight back into refresh, and you're going to get the same amount of frame advantage in your combos, be able to dash up and go for the combo. So it's actually really good. It shares that property with the yellow as well. So yellow and green both allow you to immediately replenish it without losing any frame advantage. Whereas red and blue, you get more frame advantage if you don't cancel it than if you do cancel it. Now the yellow spell has the longest delay, longest startup of all the other spells. It really only frame traps out of 5H, which can be nice, but a lot of times it's going to be hard to get them to block 5H, close enough where you can still get a mix-up. One way you can do it is that you can do it from, close slash 5H into this, and that's one good way to jail into it. The other way is sometimes you're just going to have to gamble and, just like let it fly with a gap. And hopefully your opponents can be scared of your other frame traps, like, this and this, or this and this. If they're scared enough of those because they've seen them enough times, then they might let you sneak in. A yellow spell without challenging it. And the mix you get off of this is actually the most frame advantage of anything we've had so far. If you use it, it actually will allow you to frame trap into 6H. I'll see if I can set it up. Yeah, see? The opponent's set to jump. They actually got frame trapped by 6H. So what you can do is you just do that into 6H and then just cancel 6H into any one of your other spells, and you'll be able to combo off of that if they got hit. So that's actually really nice. And I'll talk about why 6H is important too. 6H actually sets up one of our most reliable metered mix-ups. So anytime you have the yellow spell, you can pretty much reliably set up a 6H, and then even if your opponent blocks it or they get hit, you're going to be able to confirm with a PRC into either a 50-50 or a really good combo. So I'll talk about that later. Now, if you don't have 6H, or you don't have meter to combo off of 6H, or you don't have the right spells and you just want to end the round, then you can also actually combo into a full dust. It'll not combo, you'll frame trap into a full dust. So let me see if I can set it up. Yeah, see, the opponent was set to jump and they got hit by full charge dust in their pre-jump frames. So that's one cheeky mix-up you can set up, and it's relatively safe if they block it as well. Now the red spell, it's fast, kind of like the blue spell. It's a little bit slower, but it has really unique properties in that it wall bounces. So it's really good to throw out when your opponent's near the corner, but you can also use it to set up pressure mid-screen. So on the ground, it's got two kind of sets of frame advantage. If you cancel out of it, it's got the same amount of frame advantage as the blue spell when you don't cancel out of it. So it's really good if you dash cancel your close slash. And then what you can do is go for a throw mix, or you can frame trap them with close slash. I'll show you. See, you can frame trap with close slash, and you're right there point blank because you're able to dash cancel the close slash. So it's actually gives you just straight up a strike throw from there. The other kind of set of frame advantage you get from it on the ground is if you don't cancel it, it'll cause a guard crush, and it will actually frame trap into not charged dust. So if you have meter, you can just, you know, yeah, there we go. You know, into whatever combo you've got from Dust into RC. So it's actually pretty good at setting up. You know, it's really hard to react to not charged Dust. So it's pretty good at setting up a high-low mix-up if you have the meter to spend, and you can get close enough. And like I said, it'll actually frame trap out of the kick version. So it's relatively safe to do out of a really good poke. So if you can poke into that, then you'll end up getting them to block the guard crush, and then you can just go for a high-low from there. Or you can dash up and strike throw them as well. Now, the other advantage of the red one is that it can actually set up Tiger Knee mix-ups. If you get your opponent to block 5K or close slash, then you can actually, you know, jump cancel that into that. You can get it to jail off of the close slash. Let me see if I can get it once. If you're really fast. Yeah, there we go. If you're really good at Tiger Knees, you can get it to jail off of the close slash, but at the worst, it will frame trap, which is not so bad. They'll just get blown back, or you can combo off of it if they're in the corner. And from there, what happens is you can frame trap their jump with a jump slash on the way back down. So in a way, it's kind of like a frame trap in that you can do that on the way back down. But the extra layer is if they're afraid of that frame trap, then what you can do is you can go for a high-low 50-50. See, you can do a backdash and get that to combo, and then you can combo that into the super, or you can just land and go 2K2D. Your opponent will be able to jump out of that mix-up, but as long as you make them afraid of just the falling jump slash, then they might actually stick around for the 50-50 if you condition them to respect the Tiger Knee setup. And this works mid-screen as well. Yes. So he has pretty good 50-50 mix. It's not super reliable like Zato's, but if your opponent likes to block, then he will have ways to open the door. Now, I'll go ahead and explain that 6H mix-up that I was talking about before. So one of Asuka's strongest tools is that he has an instant overhead jumping kick attack, but your opponent has to be standing. One good thing is that because this is a slow overhead, which is pretty easy to react to, what you can do is you can throw this move out and PRC, and if they blocked it, then they're forced to be standing, and the PRC will slow them down and make it harder for them to crouch. And if they get hit, then this leads to a full combo as well. But if they block it, you can instant overhead them with the rising JK. So we said that this move will frame trap into 6H, and then you can PRC and go for the rising overhead mix, and then in order to combo over with the rising overhead mix, you will use your wall bounce move, right? So the whole sequence will look something like this. And so you can see, you know, if you have two of your most common spells, you can kind of autopilot into these really strong block strings that are pretty airtight. And if the opponent gets hit by any of the frame traps or any of the mix-ups, then it'll lead to like a full combo and a wall break. So I think Asuka has some potential when it comes to pressure, even with his most basic spells. All right, so now once you get the hit, then you can, if you land a hit into knockdown, you can go for Oki. And so he's able to get 50/50s pretty much off of all his Oki situations as well, and off of throw. So his main knockdown is going to be 2D, and you're going to get this a lot because this is just one of his best pokes in general. So what you do is if you immediately cancel that into anything, it can be into a card set or into the recharge, then you're able to get a safe jump JK. So it looks like this. So as you can see, the opponent's set to jump. It hit them out of their pre-jump frames. Now, the good thing about this setup, and what it is you do this, and then you do a dash jump, so a micro dash jump, and then I like to just frame kill with JK, and then hit JK on the way back down as well. And the good thing about this is you can go into low, but you can also hit your instant overhead off of this setup as well. I'll go ahead and see if I can show you. Yeah, so as you can see, you can hit the instant overhead off of this setup as well. So if you're near the corner, you'll be able to combo that into the red spell or the blue spell, and it'll allow you to pick back up and kind of combo them when you land back on the ground. All right, so his other most common knockdown situation is going to be off of his throw. You're going to get the throw landed a lot because a lot of his mix using the projectiles is going to be strike throw point blank. So when you land the throw mid-screen, all you have to do is whiff a 5P, instant air dash into 5D, and it just auto times into a safe jump. In the corner, you can OTG them with close slash and then go into instant air dash, and that'll also frame trap their jump. In the corner, you can also, I'm still trying to figure out what the frame kill is. You can also find a frame kill, and you'll be close enough where you can go for the instant overhead setup as well. Now, the last knockdown situation that's going to come up a lot is going to be your 6H. Now, if you get 6H, then you can cancel into any two actions. So you can replenish 2 cards, or you can replenish 1 card and charge for the minimum amount of time. And that will automatically frame kill just enough for an instant air dash JD. So it'll look something like this. Yeah, there we go. So either one of those will be able to frame kill enough for you to meet JD as well. Lastly, I want to talk about the non-attack, non-projectile moves. Honestly, they're really annoying. They get in the way of my combos and my efficiency a lot. It would be nicer if they just weren't in test case 1, but you have to learn how to deal with them, and they can be useful at some times. So the 2 main ones are going to be the staffs. One good thing about the staffs is that they can actually help you close the gap in neutral, because if you just look at the green orb as it is, it doesn't give you that much frame advantage. But if you use either one of these, if you use the fast one first, then it will actually cause the green orb to guard crush. And you'll actually be able to get a bit more frame advantage to come up, to dash up in 2K like that. That was even gapless. You see? So it can actually be really nice for closing the gap and helping you in neutral. The slow one will also help you close the gap because the projectiles move so slowly, you can dash up behind them and actually be able to frame trap your opponent by the time they're out of block stun. So both of these can be pretty good for closing the gap. Another interesting feature is that the fast one will actually increase the block stun of your fast move and allow you to get a little bit better mix-ups. It'll allow you to dash in just a little bit more or go for an overhead or something if you want to in mix-ups. The last two spells I want to talk about are the reduce energy cost or mana cost spell and the auto refill spell. The way I see these is I will use this reduce meter cost spell mid combo or just like in neutral, right? Because you can just cycle it out or you know, throw a projectile and then replenish while your opponent is waiting to see what you're going to do from a distance. So it can be pretty easy to get it out. But one thing is in a lot of the combos or just pressure, right? You'll want to cancel out of some of your spells. And instead of canceling into replenishing the card, you can cancel into that and it's going to give you the same frame advantage. So like for example, you can do that and then dash up for a throw mix-up. And if you land the throw, if you guess right, if you get the knockdown or the 2D knockdown, then instead of going for a safe jump, you can just choose to get your resources back. Now, the way I see the auto-replenish spell is it actually makes your footsies a little bit better, right? Because one thing you want to do is land like a far hit and then chain into your fast cubes and then just chain them all together. And this way you can do something like this and then end with the auto replenish spell. You get all your spells back and then you can even end with the super after that. And now you can dash up meeting with a close slash and you have, you know, all your spells to mix up the opponent with all the roots that we went over previously in the video. So that's basically how I've been playing Asuka. Honestly, it's really hard to keep track of everything. I spend most of the time in the lab just practicing, like just confirming off of, you know, which spells I have. I really want to keep playing this character, but I'll see if I'm able to adapt or if it's just going to be frustrating. It's going to be really hard to maintain this character and Zato, especially with Street Fighter 6 coming out. So I think this is a really cool character, and I haven't even touched the other test cases, which I think have even better mix-up tools. But I think with test case 1, you can string together like a pretty decent game plan. Just play footsies and really simple strike throw high-low when it comes up. So I hope this video was helpful, and let me know what you think. See ya.